Well, this ain't great. At least, for now. Today we are diving into the latest on the Detroit Red Wings, as shared to us by Max Bultman on an article on The Athletic. This was posted yesterday, and it was shared with us by an Athletic subscriber. This is yet another one of these gift articles that The Athletic has been coming out with as of late. So big shout out over to Bultman, over to the crew who writes these pieces on The Athletic. This was posted yesterday. What I am hearing about Red Wings GM search, timeline, and priorities for Yzerman's replacement. Now, this is a pretty thorough piece, but essentially there is a TLDR that we can dive into. This was summarized by a piece by Brendan McLean earlier yesterday as well, the latest on the Red Wings GM search. Although there has been much speculation regarding potential candidates, nobody has yet been firmly linked to the vacant Red Wings GM position. In a recent article by Bultman of The Athletic, he explains that the reason for the quietness from the Red Wings organization is that they are still very early on in their process. However, since no other teams are currently searching for a GM, the Red Wings do not feel pressured to make quick decisions. They are willing to take their time over the next few weeks to ensure they make the right decision. Detroit has work left to do this offseason regarding its roster. This includes finalizing a new contract for Simon Edvinsson, negotiating an extension with Alex DeBrincat, and determining whether to grant Dylan Larkin's trade request. Regardless, even though Yzerman will remain the day-to-day GM in the interim, it's all but guaranteed that the team's next GM will make the longer-term decisions. Furthermore, Bultman explained that the Red Wings aren't married to any specific archetypes for the team's next GM, nor for a front office hierarchy. That means that Detroit won't necessarily target a general manager with a data and analytics background, although they are prioritizing one who can ultimately modernize the team's front office. Additionally, the team is open to having a president of hockey operations lead the department with a general manager underneath them. Bultman suggested a few names that we speculated could be intriguing fits for Detroit, also naming Sam Ventura, Vice President of Hockey Strategy for the Buffalo Sabres, and Tyler Dello, Assistant GM of the Carolina Hurricanes, as speculative fits. It's worth mentioning that Chris Ilitch, the team's governor and CEO, who also owns the MLB's Detroit Tigers, made significant investments into the Tigers' analytical department in 2022 and hired current president of baseball operations Scott Harris from the San Francisco Giants, who comes from an analytical background. Lastly, Bultman shared that it would be a relatively large committee that will ultimately choose the franchise's next front office leader. It's already known that Yzerman will have input on his successor, and that Ilitch may ask for the input of Jeff Greenberg, the Tigers' current GM. Although he is currently working in baseball, Greenberg was the former associate general manager of the Chicago Blackhawks. It wouldn't be a dissimilar approach to what the ownership group has taken in the past, as Yzerman was confirmed to have helped in the process of the Tigers hiring Harris. Regardless, there is still a lot of work to be done until the Red Wings name a new president of hockey ops and/or GM. Still, the organization is eager to do its due diligence and make the right choice to get the team back on track. Now, that's interesting. You can be optimistic about the way they seem to be looking for their next guy. You can be optimistic about the process. However, when it comes to what Red Wings fans are saying about this update, in short, while the Red Wings don't have a firm idea of who they want or what they're going to do with the team moving forward, they also don't have a firm idea of what type of GM they're going to look for. You can look at this and say it's a good thing to see the team being so open-minded in the reality of a shifting NHL landscape, or you can look at this and say the team is directionless from top to bottom. Man, we're turbo... whatever that says. Yeah, sadly, I agree. No GM, Larkin's whole mess, and the Wings don't really have centers like they need. It's not going to be fun. Let's pile on a bit. No Edvinsson extension, losing the goals Kane would have scored next season. Who knows what's going to happen with DeBrincat now? They've got big problems, and there's a huge vacancy where the person who is supposed to be solving their problems is. Open-minded is good, but directionless is bad, and it doesn't seem like anyone is close enough to the situation to know which is which, and which one is talking at the moment. Now, to be fair, there are some folks that are saying, hey, I read this article and said that the organization isn't tipping their hand to the media about what they're going to do in the future. Bultman, the writer, is trying to read the tea leaves and the owners are drinking coffee. So, opinions are mixed as to this latest update on the Red Wings, but in short, there are a lot of directions that they can go. Update, there is no update. Literally. No captain, no GM, the team has no identity or direction, and it sucks. It's hard to know where the team goes from here, where even the organization doesn't have a clue to begin with. Think of it as a blank slate, like an expansion team. I'm pretty sure Bultman is feeling the pressure from this as well. There's only so many ways to speculate when almost nothing of substance has happened since the Yzerman news dropped 2 weeks ago. So, yeah. That's an interesting update, right? The non-update update essentially saying that the Wings could be going down the route of analytics, or maybe not. Maybe they're going to be using some of their folks from the Tigers organization to help them out with this hiring process, because there already was some cross-help earlier. Yzerman helping out with the Tigers hiring Harris, who is the current president of baseball operations, and they brought him over from San Francisco. Maybe the Red Wings go down a similar path. If they want to go through with the analytic thing, that seems to be an appropriate way to handle their business. But this GM search, I guess all we could really say is that there's nothing going on. I mean, you can say that it bothers you with how little the organization is talking to fans. This commenter says that I know that it was Steve's whole thing, but it's time to knock it off. We are stakeholders in their business, and we deserve to know what's going on. This isn't some small locker room thing. This has been multiple seismic changes in the last few months, and they can't be bothered to even do a press conference. And I don't mean this in an entitled, we are owed it type of way, but it's the right thing to do because the fan base is so loyal. I don't see another choice but to take the silence as we don't know what we're doing until they nut up and tell us otherwise. Not to mention, it's not like their product has been anything other than hot garbage for a decade. Some engagement is definitely warranted. So, do you agree? Is this more of a directionless, spineless type of thing, or is this just business? Is this just how the Red Wings have decided to do their business, how they've decided to navigate their next step, and is that okay, in your opinion? You can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. The Red Wings, their GM search, not really looking like it's going down any particular direction. How do you feel about that? Thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Sign on. And bye.